Good morning, and I hope you're having a great and wonderful Sunday. You are on Prism Africa, and I am MWI, as you might know. Today, we're going to talk about the coronavirus. It's the virus that's been impacting the globe. It's been impacting, I think, the whole world at large, and there's a lot of concern amongst a lot of people. So we thought we'd bring you a show with some specialists who might give us a bit of information on, in fact, not a bit, actually, a lot of information regarding this virus and what precautions we might take and what impact it actually has on us as a country as well as globally as a people. In the studio with me, I have Dr. Munsaka, who's a biomedical specialist specializing in immunology and virology. He's also the dean at UNZA, the School of Health, and as well as Dr. Chitangala, who's a public health educator. So I'm in the midst of doctors here today. Good morning.
Good morning.
And how are you doing?
Good.
Very well, thank you.
Yeah, it's great to have you in the studio today.
Thank you.
Maybe you can just tell us, I know I've given an introduction, but you can give us maybe a little bit of brief of what you do exactly.
Yes, thank you very much. And as you heard from the introduction, I'm Dr. Sodi Munsaka. I'm a biomedical specialist. I teach biomedical sciences at UNZA. I also am Dean of the School of Health Sciences. So my specialist is really lab. So I'm more of a lab person and looking at viruses and immunity. So that's what I do.
So you're very well informed about this. You're the correct person to talk to. And Dr. Chitangala, I know it's not the first time we have you on the station.
Not really. I think that people know my face on this TV station. I'm a public health educator. I teach public health and also research and plan and manage public health. I teach part-time at the University of Lusaka public health students. But I've been in public health since 2009. Currently, I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the Olympic Development Center, where we are trying to infuse public health into sport. It's a very interesting moment right now because quite a lot of things we are learning, including the fact that while we are trying to infuse public health into sport, but the sport is running away from the virus.
Yeah, very difficult situation. Right?
Olympics might be cancelled, so who knows what is coming next.
Yeah, I know there's been a lot of speculations about this virus and so on. So I think I actually have a good team right now in the studio of someone who really knows on the virus and someone who can tell us the precautions that we actually have to take. I think one thing that I think I would like to know, and I'm sure a lot of people would like to know, what exactly is the coronavirus?
Yes. The coronavirus is a virus, first of all, and it's not necessarily a new virus. This virus was discovered actually in the 1960s, but there's been very small outbreaks, and this is why maybe people may not be aware. But the major outbreak associated with human transmission was around 2003 when SARS, which is severe acute respiratory syndrome, actually emerged. There was also another Mid-Eastern respiratory syndrome that came around 2012. And so this one that came out of Wuhan, China in 2019, just the end of last year, is the third big outbreak. But if you look at the smaller, there have been about 4 small outbreaks, meaning that it's actually the 7th. So maybe the interesting thing to know is why is it called coronavirus? So as scientists, when we look at these viruses in the microscope, especially they are small, for this one you use an electron microscope, it is very round, circular. It looks like a crown, like a corona. So it's more like a nickname that was given to say this is coronavirus because corona is crown in Latin. So that's where the name actually of this virus actually came from. And maybe to end addressing that question is that this virus originally was discovered in birds, mostly bats. So it is a wild virus, and so the contact to humans may have actually occurred from animals into humans. And this is why the first report of this coronavirus, the COVID-19, came from a market where they were selling animals. So suggesting that it was animal to human transmission.
Wow.
Yes.
All right. So I heard you mention that it's actually not the first time that we've had something like this. So
Yes.
why is this one more impactful?
Okay. Yes. So this one, I think SARS, the one around 2003, is the one that had some impact, but then it was just a few months, and the cases, in fact, the case, what we call case fatality, the people that were dying from SARS were actually more than this one. This one, I think the impact or the buzz that is coming from this coronavirus 19 is because it has spread throughout the world, and I'm sure you heard that WHO declared it a pandemic. So the SARS of 2003 and 2012 were not pandemics. They were restricted to Asia. They didn't spread globally. So I think this is why this is creating much attention, because it is a pandemic. Yes.
So calling it that, Dr. Stankala, we hear that it's a pandemic and it's it's gone globally. What are the statistics on the virus globally currently?
Yeah, thank you, Mui. And this is what is making people get worried because of the fast rate that it has been declared a pandemic from 21st at the end of December last year to the time that it was declared a pandemic. It was very fast, telling you that it's moving very, very quickly. So currently we are talking about close to 310,000 globally. Okay, and this is as we stand right now. That is the figure that we are talking about, and we are talking about 13,000 deaths. Okay, again, like what Dr. Musaka talked about, and that means it's a very, in terms of case fatalities, the first case fatality is very low. But also, we must mention to the people that it means a lot of people have recovered. Okay, a lot of people have recovered. But close to 100,000 people have recovered, and even when you talk about that, we have those who have not yet recovered. About 190,000 have got what is called mild condition. Okay, they're not serious, and we're talking about 10,000 being in a serious or a critical condition. So it's not something that should start making you being apprehensive. But all you need to do is to practice the safe prevention measures that you're seeing around, flying around from the Ministry of Health, and you should be safe. Your safety is important, and the safety of the neighbor is important. But when you look at country by country, of course, it started from China, like my colleague has talked about. In China, the cases have been stuck around 80,000, and they haven't moved from there significantly in the past few weeks. And the reason is that they've managed to contain it. And even the few cases they're having, like in the last 24 hours, they've only had 46 cases. These are not local cases. These are imported cases, which is very good. They've only experienced about 3,200 deaths. And yet, they had more than 80,000 cases. Compared to Italy, which has 53,000 cases, it's already getting into somewhere close to 5,000 deaths. So it should tell you that China, we can generate a lot of lessons from there on how we can proceed with this particular virus. Yeah.
So the two countries that are impacted the most, China and Italy, but is there more countries that also have maybe a bigger number?
Of course we do. We have, remember that the epicenter when this started, late December, January and part of February, was really Wuhan itself, China. But now this has shifted. After China reached its peak and now it dropped, it has shifted to Europe. Europe is now the new epicenter. And it's not just Italy that is badly affected. Talking about Italy itself, Spain, Germany, and France, and outside Europe, we have Iran, we have the USA with very big numbers. South Korea was very worrying when it started, but they were very quick to move, very quick, and they've managed to hold it at a point where they can say we are no longer worried. In Africa, South Africa has got the highest. I think it should be in the 300s now. The rest of us, 1, 2 cases. Yeah.
So hearing from Dr. Shtangala here, we hear that in Africa there's very few cases, and why is that? Why is there so few cases in Africa currently?
Yes, thank you very much for that interesting question. Yeah, we've seen countries in Africa popping up, and Zambia is a report of 2 cases, as you've heard. One of the things that is interesting about the seriousness of this disease is that the median age of people that are dying or having very serious illness is actually over 80. So if you see our population is more of a younger population, and interesting, even children, the numbers of infections, deaths are very, very small. And so being a very, very young population, Africa, and particularly here in Zambia, I think this is the reason why maybe we may not actually see more cases. If you look at our colleagues in Europe and the Americas, and even Asia, like Japan, China, their population is, in terms of age, is actually much, much higher than us. And so I think we'll see much, much lower numbers. Then surprisingly, the figures that are coming up are actually showing that more men are actually more affected and more having actually serious illnesses. So if you look at the numbers, it's almost a 50% higher in the men. And I think as scientists, we are having a hard time to actually understand why this is so.
Maybe we're just careless.
Yeah, I think more men are more susceptible to not take those precautions.
Yeah.
Something else, there's been some speculations amongst people and people's own thesis. I think having men of your caliber in here, I think you're able to explain this more if it's true or not, where some people know it's race specific as well as maybe that our weather has something to do with the fact that we don't have many cases here in Zambia.
Yes, and let us demystify that blacks or Africans are not getting this, and I think we should be more prepared. Blacks can actually be infected, and I think maybe what has affected us or has helped us is the issue of the environment and the temperatures, because as you know and as you hear actually this virus is transmitted through aerosols, and then it can survive on surfaces. And so this virus is more adapted to cold weather, so it's surviving longer in the cold environment. Our environmental temperatures are slightly higher than the rest. So meaning that as we are going towards our winter, around May, June, July, we may actually see more cases, maybe because of the adaptation of this virus here. And then after July, August, September, again, it may go down. And I think we are seeing the same thing like Europe, and because it's getting warmer.
Yeah.
So they will actually get fewer cases, and the cases will come here. And eventually, I feel we are going to contain this virus.
Oh, wow. All right. Just to get more information on how is the virus spread?
Yeah, this is a very interesting virus, by the way. Mainly, it's of course, as we've already heard, the first transmission was from animal to man. But now, since then, the spread has been mechanized by transmission from human to human. And usually, like my colleague has said, is through droplets from the mouth, from the nose, and also transmission from the infected hands, and into the mouth, and to the nose, and to the eyes. And this is why we're emphasizing hygiene. So if I'm sitting next to you and we are within range when I'm talking. There are those invisible droplets flying out of my mouth, and it lands into your mouth, and I'm infected, you can get infected. If I sneeze, those droplets flying at a very high speed from my nose or from my mouth and lands on the face or enters your body, you get infected. It's as simple as all that. If my hands are soiled, are infected, and I haven't washed my hands, and I touch my eyes, I touch my nose, I touch my mouth, I get infected. And you touch your money, you touch hard surfaces, you know, where the virus stands. This is why I said it's very interesting, because this virus is not like any other HIV. It stays for a longer period outside the body than even HIV, which we know dies almost instantly when it leaves the protein carrying fluids of the body. But this one will survive for quite a long time. So we may not even know, even my phone may actually be carrying a virus for a long time because maybe somebody touched it and I didn't know about it. Or even the surface of the table here can have the virus for quite a long, for some hours. If I touch it and I touch my face, so we need to start practicing the habit of distancing our hands from the face.
Wow. So the wearing of masks, I've seen that though we don't have much cases here in Zambia, there's people still I think I was one of the people.
Yeah.
There was actually a day I was wearing a mask.
So where did you get it from?
I got it from a friend. The friend had a few masks.
So how many did you get?
I just got one and I
So
used
what
it for a
happened
day.
after that? You threw it away, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's an unnecessary cost we are trying to bear to put on ourselves. We should brace for more. I think we need these masks to be worn by the right people. And the right people are either those who are infected, so that they don't pass the infection to other people who are not infected. The right people are those who are caring for the infected, all right? So that we keep them healthy. As you see in Iran, a lot of people who are caring for the sick are the ones dying. Why? Because they don't have the right protection. The doctors, the nurses, everyone who's taking care of the infected, they need these masks. If we are going to deplete the shops now, where will our healthcare workers get the masks from? You know, I don't need a mask. I'm talking to you right now. I don't need a mask, and I don't feel sick. I don't need a mask. It's an unnecessary expense. We should stop this. We should stop running for masks. We don't need them. Let hospitals get the masks and let them be used by the right people I've described. Yeah.
Okay, I've learned something. I think it's become like a trend now.
If it's something you can just pick, it's a mask, you can find it, pick it and wear it. Yeah, you can wear it, but we are spending and the government is spending. Let us reserve them for the people who need them most. Yeah.
Oh, thank you for that. And how can one know if they have the coronavirus?
Yes, and maybe before I go to that question, I want to emphasize the people that are dying from this disease. One of the things we skipped is that because my colleague mentioned it's a small fraction, about 4%, so under 5%. So people with pre-existing medical conditions or who have in medicine we call them comorbidities, but these are underlying medical conditions like heart disease, cardiovascular disease, people with diabetes, people with lung conditions or breathing difficulties, people with BP, hypertension, and cancers. So those are the people that are actually getting more sick. And so we need to take care and put more precautions on those types of people. So now the ordinary person will actually have a mild flu. So meaning that about 50% of the people who will be infected may not actually know that they are infected because they will get a very mild flu. But then the other fraction, how they would know is people who have a fever. So the fever is one of the first signs that will come. And then there will be a cough. And this is a dry cough. So coronavirus doesn't produce like a lot of mucus and like sneezing and all that. So it's more of a dry cough that will come. So those are the two most important signs to actually observe. And then the progression from that will actually lead into the shortness of breath. And this is where people with underlying lung conditions and cardiovascular diseases, and advanced age, because those are the people that will actually succumb to that. Surprisingly, you would think that children may be more affected because of issues of breathing, but it seems they are doing much better than the elderly. So those are the key signs, as well as fatigue. Of course, with the shortness of breath, it will come with fatigue. People will be feeling more and more tired.
Yeah. So,
yes.
so is it really important when we feel these symptoms, or maybe even if you think it's just a normal cold, important for us to maybe go get tested and go get checked?
Yes, so there's testing available. Actually, one of the good things to know is, as a country, we've built capacity, I think, through the Ministry of Health, particularly UTH, and also as UNZA, our labs are now stocking for reagents for testing, particularly the school vet. We have the capacity and the technology to actually detect this virus. And let me also emphasize that the people that may get mild infection may actually be shedding the virus, and I think my colleague will talk about that, that during that period where somebody is not sick, they may actually be producing virus which can be transmitted. And so this is the reason why hand washing and all those practices, public health measures, will actually be very key. Yes.
Oh, wow. All right. I think before you touch on giving more information on that, I'd like to ask about the panic buying that we're hearing, especially in other countries. You know, I have a little sister who's studying in South Africa, and she's telling me, "Oh, my food's almost done. I need to just go out and buy food, but there's hardly food in stores anymore."
Yeah, and if we're not careful, that will soon come over here. Because of just rumors, you know, and this is why we are seeing essential commodities like masks and hand sanitizers running out. It's not because they are used because everyone is using them. No, it's because some people are hoarding. They're overbuying and keeping their homes, some to use in future because they think they should be the ones to survive, but that's foolishness. How do you think are the ones to survive when everyone you're interacting with is not using those things, you know? And also, others are stocking for resale when the prices go up. Like you have seen, a hand sanitizer of 25 kwacha 2 weeks ago is now going to close to 100 kwacha, which is crazy. This is not necessary. We are actually killing ourselves, you know, just like masks. If you're going to buy all the food from the shops, and you're not sick, what will the people who are sick going to eat? What are they going to eat? It's not necessary. We're killing the economy, and we're also just putting ourselves under unnecessary pressure. We're going to start creating ideas from mischievous people to start rioting because there's no food in the shops, just because somebody has filled the whole bedroom with food being eaten by rats. That is unnecessary, and I want to appeal to the people out there just to remember that despite the fact that we are going through this, let's not do what other people are doing in other countries. You're seeing shelves which are supposed to house tissues, toilet papers, emptying. And maybe the doc here can explain what is the relationship between tissues and the coronavirus. So many commodities are disappearing. That is not necessary. We are creating a situation which can be a recipe for other things that we fail to control in the future, like demonstrations, just because other people are taking advantage of this situation.
Oh, thank you very much for that. I hope you guys have heard out there. I think a lot of people should take note of that because it's really important. Because also you find it's not everybody who's able to afford to buy so many things.
No, not at all. Not at all. Very few people will be privileged.
Another important question I wanted to ask Doctor is, I think I should be more specific when I say doctor because Dr. Musaka is Do we have the capacity to? I think I asked this regarding the capacity
To test?
Yeah, to test for the virus.
Yep.
Yes, the capacity is there.
Is there?
At least within the government. UNZA also is helping, and so labs. This is the time to start stockpiling for reagents. And I think speaking from the lab perspective, we are ready for this.
So is there specific maybe clinics and hospitals and labs that you should go to test to, or is every clinic or hospital?
Maybe also the other question is, should I just stand up and go to test when I feel like I have a cold?
I think.
No. Yes. So the doctors that work in hospitals and clinics, there are protocols that they will use, and it's not every clinic or hospital that are testing. So those highly suspicious cases are the ones that will be sent to reference laboratories. So the main reference laboratory we have is the National Public Health Lab, which is at UTH. It's the main referral. And then us as UNZA, we just are actually helping as part of our community contribution to giving to the community. We are part of the National Public Health Laboratory, and so we have that capacity to do.
So in terms of treatment, if one finds they have the virus, what steps of treatment is taken?
Okay. Yes. So this coronavirus, and you heard it's a novel virus, so meaning new virus. So in terms of specific treatment, there's no treatment, but because of the attention that is created in the scientific community, people have been scampering to actually find actual drugs that can cure this. And so in terms of those that are very sick, there's supportive care which is given. So those that will have that will go into respiratory issues, those ventilation, that artificial ventilation that is given will actually help them. So that is number one. And so this is why it is important that hospitals, especially second, third level hospitals, will need to beef up in terms of ventilation. And it's mostly the elderly that will require that. Then in terms of the actual drugs, there are some what we call clinical trials that are ongoing, and the preliminary indications are actually showing that there are some drugs, some of even the old drugs that we've removed off the shelves that may be working. I'm cautious not to mention the names of the drugs because people will
start looking to buy.
Drugs. But very soon we are going to hear some of the trials that are coming. It should be important also to mention that this is an RNA virus, so meaning that some of the currently used HIV medications may also work for this drug. But I'm very cautious here not to tell people to go and start taking ARVs, but I'll let the Ministry of Health and the doctors, the clinical doctors, to address this issue of treatment. But maybe before I leave this, I should also go to issues of vaccine. It's the same also. There is no specific vaccine for coronavirus disease, but there are trials that have started. In fact, a few days ago, the USA, in Seattle, there's a trial that has actually started of the COVID-19 vaccine. And I think in the next weeks or months, we are going to get results. So in a way, I think we are working very fast on COVID. And I think for me, as somebody who has worked in infectious diseases in the lab for a long time, I wish that for conditions that we have like HIV, TB, malaria, if we had this type of response and a lot of what I call neglected diseases, we would actually have a lot of this. And I hope, which is really a good thing about this virus, is that it will equip us more to understand about immune responses of other diseases that I think we've neglected. I think I will mention, HIV itself, I think in terms of therapies, I think we've advanced in terms of HIV treatment. But in terms of vaccine, it looks like there's very little progress going, and I think we need to push in that direction.
I think before we close, maybe Dr. Chitangala, as a public health educator, I think this is where you come in, you know, where the saying goes, prevention is better than cure.
Absolutely.
What steps should we take to prevent this virus?
All right. First and foremost, if you think you're sick, stay home until somebody can determine your status, and also ensure that not so many people get closer to you, like your family. Isolate yourself, okay, until your case is determined. If you have to cough, if you have to sneeze, cover your mouth, cover your nose. And the best way to do that is not to cough in your hands, because you're going to touch a surface which somebody else is going to touch. The best way is to use your elbow, okay, and it's or to face a direction where there's no one, and also make hand washing a habit. Even if your hands start feeling dry, like I'm feeling right now, it's okay. You are protecting yourself and you're protecting other people. And ensure that when you wash your hands with the right soap, and wash your hands properly. Usually the best way to know that you've washed your hands properly is to rub your hands with soap and sing the happy birthday song 2 times. Okay, then you know that you've taken the time it needs to wash, and then rinse that off. And also, if you have no access, in the meantime, if you have no access to soap and running water, you can use alcohol-based, waterless hand sanitizers. Okay, but as soon as you have water and soap, the best is to wash your hands. All right, and please report yourself. Report to the Ministry of Health if you feel any strange of the symptoms that my brothers talked about, and also ensure that avoid unnecessary movements to crowds where there's nothing else to do there except Chimpwena. Don't be in crowded places for no apparent reason. You end up catching what you're not supposed to catch. Just do what you can, and let each one of us do what we can. We are going to defeat this virus once and for all. And the good news so far is that, yes, we have 2 cases, but these cases came out of the country. We don't have yet a local transmission, meaning that there we can be assured that maybe if we just continue with this momentum of prevention, we can prevent this from growing further. Let everyone just do what they can. Yesterday, I parked a car somewhere along the road. I saw somebody stopping another vehicle, and they ran to this friend. They hugged, they shook hands, they spoke like next to each other, and I was like, haven't they heard what is going on? It's unbelievable that you still have people who can do that. And also hope that this is not going to lead into stigma. Just because you hear somebody's coughing or they're sneezing doesn't mean that they necessarily have coronavirus. Yes, you can protect yourself, but please let's not stigmatize. Let's not stigmatize people of Asian origin. You may want to know that the Japanese embassy has sent away all their staff because of the same stigma. Because they look Chinese, so we think that they're the ones who are bringing it here. I know this because some of my coaches have communication from the Chinese embassy. They have gone back to China because of stigma. Let's not do that. It's not going to help us. We have learned lessons on HIV. We stigmatized people. They didn't want to come and get medication, and they died. We don't want this to happen with us. But we have too many lessons. We can't just let this slip out of our hands.
Wow. Well, I think this was a whole lot of information. I wish we had more time to talk more. I've learned such a lot, and I hope all of you watching there at home have learned as well. And if you cut this maybe in the middle, you'd like to go through this over again, you can actually go on YouTube. That's the Prism Africa YouTube page, and you will actually find that there. Just actually subscribe to the channel, and yeah, you will find, and you can find the link as well on Facebook. Yeah, we're on Facebook as well. That's also Prism Africa. Dr. Mundia and Dr. Shtangala.
Musaka.
Dr. Musaka, forgive me for that. And Dr. Shtangala, thank you very much for coming and just giving us this load of information that I think is really, really necessary. It's great to have you, and hope we'll see you again.
Sure, definitely, anytime.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And to everybody at home watching, thank you very much for joining us, and continue to watch Prism Africa. I am the MWI, and good day, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your day.
Feeling uncertain about your future? There is a place that ignites the passion to explore the meaning of achieving goals. Place that allows you to connect with the you in you. A place that says to you, never give up, bringing out the fearless you, because you know you can do it. Creso University offers you an opportunity to study on distance, full-time and part-time in our health sciences programs. Enroll for a Bachelor of Science in Nursing, Bachelor of Science in Public Health, and Diploma in Clinical Medicine. Dream and become the dream. Creso University, meeting your educational needs of the day.
Foreland cargo trucks are high quality and efficiency platforms. They meet international standards and provide scientific precise logistic solutions as well. Foreland dump trucks have been designed special for middle and short distance transportation with high payload capabilities. Foreland special vehicles are strong, durable and adaptable and lead the industry. Foreland special purpose vehicles cover full range concrete mixers, cranes and tanks to meet demands of different areas. For orders and inquiries, call +260 955 786155 +260 970 219927 for SADC region only. Email techmarkzambia@
When music matters,
Africa's hottest DJs and presenters for the freshest and hot music videos all over the world.
Now we ain't got no problems, got to kill it. I know sometimes you feel gone, there will be better days, better days.
When the word of God matters.
With Cain getting angry at Abel, so angry that he killed him. And all through the Bible, we see situations where people were angry. And all through the Bible, we see the bad results. And we see God saying, turn it over.
Look at society in general. Look at the politicians. Look at everybody. Everybody shifts the blame to somebody else. Isn't it? Nobody wants to take responsibility.
Because at this table, we receive acceptance, we receive recognition, we receive the joy of being found in Him.
When local is laka, we bring you the cream of Zambian basketball. When your children matter,